What is going on, everybody? How are you doing? And welcome back to episode number 52 of the original Road to Glory on FIFA 17. And today we are coming in with the Gylfi Sigurdsson tournament final. I actually showed last week. We did the Rudy tournament and I showed the entire run, but the final that you're going to see today was so epic and just one of the most intense games that I've ever played. I decided rather than showing the entire run, just to show you the final. You're seeing his team in the background now. He does sub off, as you'll see, that Cam. I don't know who he is, and brings on the Player of the Month hazard for his special card. But yeah, you're going to see the entirety of the final. So hopefully you do enjoy that. If you do, make sure to leave a big thumbs up on the video. And don't forget to subscribe if you are new to the channel as well. Also, if you're interested in finding out how good this Gylfi Sigurdsson card is, then I did a review on him that went out the other day. I'll put the link to that at the end of the video, then in the top right hand corner of your screens right away. But like I said, the Gylfi Sigurdsson tournament, we've completed it, we've done it, and the tin that we used you will have seen on screen already. This time around you could only use one special card. Well, you didn't have to use a special card, but the options were that you could, if you wanted to, use one special card. And I figured if you're given the choice to, why the hell wouldn't you, basically? And that was only for the first couple of days, so that was for Monday and Tuesday. I think Wednesday and Thursday. As you see this now, it's gone to a no entry requirements at all, so you can use any team that you want. But what I found really intriguing were the special cards that people were using in this tournament. Personally, we used our Red 90 rated Dybala, and he was doing bits for us, as he always tends to do. We had normal regular Martial at left forward, we had Quadrado at right forward, we had a very, very solid midfield, and we had the classic defence really of Smalling in there. Who did we have in goal? Courtois in there, I think it is in goal. Zuma in defence as well, who's been really, really impressing me lately. But the majority of people that I played against were using the 89 Son as their chosen special card, or just one form of Son or another. And to be quite honest, that guy is driving me absolutely nuts the amount of times I'm playing against him and how effective he is in-game. And the 89 Player of the Month isn't ridiculously expensive. It's out of our price range, unfortunately, but if we had a few more coins, I would be doing it, because that card is absolutely ridiculous how good it is. But we win this game, obviously, as you know, otherwise you wouldn't be seeing it. And this was actually our fourth attempt at the tournament. We the previous three got to the final twice, and in the other one we lost in the semi-final, and in the two finals, both were extremely close games. I think I lost 3-1 in the first final, where it was 2-1. I'd gone out all-out attack, and then he sealed it in the 90th minute, so that could have gone either way. And then the other final that I lost was 3-2. So we were getting to the final and being edged out, and that was really, really depressing me, to be honest. I was like, can we not just win it? Can we not just get it done? Because when you're losing in the final especially, it's really heartbreaking. It's demotivating, because you've got to go through all the games again to get there. But thankfully, we had a bit of persistence. We got there, and that meant that we, of course, did unlock the Gylfi Sigurdsson. And I've got to say, I'm really looking forward to using him in this weekend's Weekend League, because although I'm not playing the Weekend League fully at the moment, I'm just getting the 18 wins and getting it done. Last weekend, it did take me a lot longer than I wanted it to, actually. I think I got to 14 wins in 20, and then I just wanted to get the other 4 wins and be done with it. So I was quitting games really early just to get it done, and it took me about 12 games to do it, which was absolutely ridiculous. But there's been entry requirements on them, which I don't mind. I actually quite enjoy the entry requirements, because I think it limits people to what they can do, and it forces people to try different players, that kind of thing. And I do enjoy having to build different teams myself. However, I am quite looking forward to this weekend, where you can build any team you want, and we're able to use our Suarez again, we can use our Sharawi again, people that we've not used for a while. We're going to get Sigurdsson in the team, we're going to get Rudy in the team, so really, really looking forward to being able to use whoever we want, basically. It's going to be nice for a change. And I'll be using a team in Division 1, which you'll see in the next episode, and I've actually been using Sigurdsson and Rudy in the same midfield, and it's been going pretty well so far, so hopefully that can stay the same. Like I say, Sigurdsson is a player that I've been really, really enjoying. And the other thing I want to talk about right now is the fact that I caved with the packs. Last time you saw this account, you will have known we had about 25 packs saved up for the Bundesliga team of the season. However, I ended up opening them all up, and we actually got some decent pulls. You'll see that in the next episode. That's all going to be in episode 53, the pack pulls and the new team and everything. But we were doing a lot of the Premier League SBCs, the one where you get the guaranteed 3 rare players, I think it is. We pull ourselves a team of the season. We got a team of the season in the packs that we're opening up prior to that as well. So you're going to be seeing a lot of packs in the next episode, as well as a little, I don't want to say club tour, it's not really going to be a club tour, but as well as the team that we're going to be using, maybe a little bit of gameplay as well. But I wanted to save him for Bundesliga, but the packs seem to be giving out for a lot of people. Me personally, on my main account, not the Road to Glory account, I did 2 of the Premier League Premium SBCs, and I actually got Team of the Season Azpilicueta in the second one. And when that happened, I was like, right, we're going to go on the Road to Glory, we're going to grind out a load of these, and we're going to get ourselves a team of the season, which we did manage to do, but it took us about 15 attempts and really dried out the club. So since I got that card, which again you'll see in the next episode, I've been just saving up now again, trying to keep some players, keep the club fresh again for when the Bundesliga thing comes out inevitably, because I'm hoping the Bundesliga is the next team of the season, but I'm not really sure what it's going to be, to be honest. No one really knows. So hopefully it's Bundesliga. We've got a few things saved up. We'll have weekly rewards as well from Foot Champions where we hit the goal 3, so there's a couple of decent packs there. But also, I was doing the, not the premium Premier League SBC, just the standard one where you got loads of non-rares, because you also got consumables, and I've got tons of squad fitnesses from that, which are non-tradable, obviously. You can see we go 1-0 then in this game, and I'm going to talk about this goal quickly. What a goal it was, because I don't know how he kept the ball in play in the first place. Brilliant cross, then Aubameyang getting headwind as well. At that moment, I was like, oh god, it's going to be another one of these finals. It's a great goal. Don't think I could have done much to stop it, and they were 1-0 down. But yeah, I was doing loads of the non-rare ones because we were getting rare consumables in the form of player squad fitnesses. And they're just so useful to me. Like, I'll burn through them in the weekend league when I'm using that, and usually I have to go out and buy a few. But we were stocked up to the point where we had about 26, 27. We've still got about 10 left, and that's after the weekend league and from doing the Sigurdsson tournament as well. So I'm in a really good position as far as that goes. And you know, if you want squad fitnesses, they seem to be really common in those packs. So I'd recommend doing them because you don't have to trade in non-rare players. It's not expensive at all. Most people have got them lying around in their club, and like I say, it's really useful. And you've still got a shot, of course, if you get really lucky, of getting a Premier League team of the season player. I'd like to know as well from you guys if you've done the Sigurdsson tournament, how many attempts it took you, and how many of those premium SBCs you've done, and how many team of the seasons you've got, because people have been tagging me on Twitter with packs where they've got 2 in 1. People seem to be getting recurring team of the season players all the time. So, like I said, to get 1 in 15, I don't know if that's good, if that's bad. I was happy with it, to be honest. I was just happy. And yet, again, you'll see this all in the next episode. But the one where I did get a team of the season, I wasn't recording. I managed to get the recording up just in time to see the player walking around the pack. But I was a bit frustrated because I'd done so many and not get anything that I'd stopped recording, basically. And yeah, well, like I say, I'm really pleased with the position that we're in. There's currently, as I record this is actually Wednesday morning, the Benelux team of the season has just been released as well, and there's some great looking cards in there, but I don't think I'm going to be going near them, to be honest, because Benelux, the Eredivisie and Belgian League are teams that I don't use too often. However, you've seen in the past on this series, I believe it was Den Donker's team of the group stage card. I used him as a super sub. I would not be against doing that again because his card looks so incredible, that team of the season card does, and I think after a few days they're probably going to be dirt cheap, which, like I say, it blows my mind. I mean, even the Premier League ones, it surprises me just how cheap some of them are. I mean, the likes of Lallana was only about 190k on day 1. I think, to be honest, most of them have crept up since then. So it's, I mean, they're cheap, but at the same time, there's none that are below 100k. I think Michael Keane is the cheapest one, and he's going for about bang on that 100k mark. But the gameplay you can see in the background right now, we're approaching half-time. We're 1-0 down, all to do. And the frustrating thing is, about these tournaments, like I say, I'd lost in the final twice. Usually it's plain sailing up to the semi-final. At least the first round and second round tended to be people quitting or just absolute dominations. The semi-final tended to be a bit tougher but easily won, if that makes sense. Like, it wasn't people rage quitting, but it was still a very comfortable game. And then you get to the final and it's just luck of the draw, because you can so easily come across an absolute monster in the final, which is, I mean, the first game, although it was 3-1 in the first game, the guy absolutely played me off the park, and he fully deserved that win. It would have been a travesty. I'm sure he would say, oh, camera's just died, forgive me. It would be a travesty if I'd have come out with that game with that win. So you can see second half kicks off. We go 2-0 down pretty much straight away. It was really disappointing, that was. And at this point, we looked like we got it all to do. And like I say, this for me was one of the most intense games I've played all year, and you're going to see why when it all comes to a head later on in the game. But yeah, Bundesliga is still the one I think I'm really excited for. Premier League, there are some amazing cards, and I think the fact that a lot of them are quite attainable makes it even more exciting. I think the fact there that we've got a team where we've got the team of the season that we packed in there, we've got the team of the season Gylfi Sigurdsson in there, we've got the team of the season Sebastian Rudy in there. It's amazing. I love this time of year on FIFA where you don't have to buy anything, you don't have to go there and spend money on packs, and you've still got the opportunity to get your club with a few special cards in there, team of the season cards. Now, when I look at the account as a whole at this point, it just blows my mind how far we've come. And I know this Road to Glory isn't by far the best. You look at people like Nepenthes, Nick, they've got incredible accounts without spending any money. But I'm still really proud, I think I've mentioned this before in the series, of what we've been able to achieve on this account without spending any money, basically. But I'm going to talk a bit more about the game in the background now, because it gets to a head where it gets really, really intense, and I'm going to talk a bit more about the team itself and what was working for me, what wasn't working for me, and the players that impressed me. And I've got to say, Dybala was our special card. We all know about him at this point on the account. He's absolutely amazing, but we had regular Anthony Martial at left forward, and he was doing absolute bits. He was like, we've got the red version of him, obviously, which we couldn't use. I almost forgot how good the normal one was. He was absolutely incredible. And I remember when I reviewed the Informed Martial saying, although the red Martial or the Informed one is so incredible, he's not that much better than the normal, because his normal one is so amazing. And that just, it stands to show again, because this normal Martial was doing absolute work for me. He was incredible. And on the other side of the pitch, of course, we've got Juan Cuadrado, who this is actually the first time I've used him this year, I believe, and was absolutely incredible. Obviously, he's a known player to be very OP in FIFA, but he blew my mind with how effective he was. He feels absolutely rapid, which is, of course, the skill moves being 5-star was awesome, and finishing in front of goal was absolutely exceptional for me. Like, Juan Cuadrado was probably, I'm going to say, the main man in our team. He contributed so much, it was absolutely ridiculous. And looking at the rest of the team, you're looking at the likes of Smalling, who we all know are absolutely solid performers. Thibaut Courtois in goal. This is as well the first time I've used him. Was another player that we got from the Premier League all-grade packs. And actually, at the time, I was very disappointed when I got him, but he's very, very solid. And the reason I was disappointed, because he's a walkout, obviously. And when you're opening the Premier League SBCs, and you get that walkout freeze, the odds of it being a team of the season are so high that when you don't see the blue flare, it's actually a little bit disappointing, because I think outside of the team of the season players, because all the Premier League team of the seasons are walkout, the lowest rated is 89 in the fact that that's Antonio Valencia and Michael Keane, I think. I think there's Pogba that could have been a walkout. There is Courtois, obviously, and I think that is literally it. I think every other walkout it could have been was team of the season, so I was a little bit gutted at the time, but he's been absolutely fantastic in this team. And it's actually a little bit disappointing, because there's a couple of players I'd like to use to hybrid up the team, but I also want to use Courtois and the guy that we packed from the team of the season packs in the team as well, so it's not going to make it easy to get him on full cam. We're probably going to have to be rocking a full Premier League defence for the near future, or at least for now anyway, with the current team that we're using with Gylfi Sigurdsson. We also packed an Inform as well at right back that I'm sure many of you can guess. If I tell you it's a right back from the Premier League, you can guess who that was. And like I say, although we only got one team of the season in the 15 packs that we opened up, I've got to say, I still think we're in a better position now than we were before, because we got untradeable. Matic, who was someone that we were using in this team, that was another guy that I was super impressed with. And this is the point now, we get it back to 2-1, and Cuadrado netting again, lovely finish across keeper. And at this point, 75th minute, I knew it was going to be game on, because this guy was going to be shitting himself basically. 15 minutes to go, momentum being in the game and everything. I knew we were going to get at least another chance to get the equaliser here. But yeah, Matic was in the team, was incredibly impressive for me. I used him earlier on in the year on FIFA and wasn't overly keen on him, but this time round he was absolutely sensational. And also Kante, one that many of you may say, yeah, of course he's a god on the game. I've only got the 81 rated card because I didn't see the point in paying extra for the 83, but thoroughly impressed, and almost forgot just how good he was in this game almost, which might sound ridiculous because Kante, we all know, he's an absolute monster, but I don't use Premier League too often, so it just shocks me of how good these players are sometimes for the price that you pay. I mean, you could go out there and you could buy yourselves a team of the season Kante, and he's going to be exceptional, but is he really going to be that much better than the normal card? Because the normal card is so good, there's really not that much room for improvement, to be honest. And I'd also like to know how you guys feel. I mean, is the equaliser coming here? I can't quite remember. You'll see in a second anyway, it's not far away. How do you guys feel about the fact that the SBCs for the Kante and the Dele Alli were so expensive, and now you can actually go out there and buy them for half the price that you could complete the SBC for, basically? I think that's absolutely crazy, to be quite honest with you. The fact that Kante costs like 1 million coins, you can get it for 500, 600k. There's the equaliser. I think we actually get a stroke of luck because we're doing a McGeady spin with Dybala. I think he reads it, to be honest, and we get quite lucky to come out with it. And then, sorry, it wasn't with Dybala, I think it was with Martial and or Cuadrado. I can't remember. Dybala's the one that scored, so it definitely wasn't Dybala, but he read it. Then we square it across goal. Dybala taps in from 2 yards out. He was never going to miss that. And this is now the point where all hell breaks loose in this game, because so much goes on now between now and the 90th minute. I mean, we're 2-0 down in the 75th, 2-2 in the 85th, which is ridiculous. And I think this guy, I mean, I can imagine. I mean, I've been in finals already and lost, like I said, but not in this situation. I imagine he was feeling like, you know, how has this happened? How is the game that this happened to me? We were in comfortable position. He was defending really, really well. It was very difficult to break down. And then like that, Dybala makes it 3-2. And what a finish that was. Paulo Dybala coming to the rescue. I think when you're using one special card in these kind of situations, you've got to make sure it's a special card that's going to do work for you, that's going to carry you at times, going to come up with the big moments, and that's exactly what Dybala did for us here, slamming it into the bottom corner from an angle where you don't expect him to score. It's an absolutely outrageous finish, and at this point, you know, I am buzzing. I am so happy. I think the game is done, the match is won, especially when we tackled him from kick-off. We've got the ball back, it's in our control. I'm just going to look after the ball. We're going to pot the buzz. There is no way we are losing this game, but I throw it, I aim at our man there, we give it away with the throw-in, and I was like, no, surely not, surely not. Our defence parts like the Red Sea, he does some great dribbling, and it's 3-3, and I could not believe it. At this point, I was banging my head off my desk out of frustration, because I was like, we had it in the palm of our hands. It was there in the 90th minute, basically. We were 3-2 up, we were on part of the buzz, we had control of the ball, and from a throw-in that we give away, the guy has got to root back into the game, but that is not how this is going to end. We pick out the attackers here. Martial picks it up, and I think the guy thinks we're going to McGeady spin. We don't. We just dribble straight forward. Low driven. 4-3 in the 90th minute. So this guy pulls it back level in the 90th. We then score in the 90th again to win the game. This has got to be, like I said, one of the most intense games of FIFA I've ever played. When that goal went in, I was, to be honest, I was grateful that the ref blew his whistle there, because if that guy had had another run at me from kickoff, the way the game was going, it wouldn't have surprised me if he'd have scored. But we do get the win, 4-3, incredibly, incredibly intense game. It's our fourth time of asking in the tournament, and we pick up that incredible looking 18 on Gylfi Sigurdsson, which I was really, really happy with, because it looks an incredible card, granted, but Gylfi Sigurdsson is also a player that I absolutely love in real life, so really pleased to get him. When I saw it was him, it was going to be the tournament player, I was absolutely buzzing with that. But that is going to be off this episode, lads. If you did enjoy it, like I say, leave a big thumbs up, let me know how you've got on with the Gylfi Sigurdsson tournament, and let me know your thoughts on everything I've mentioned in today's episode. I'll speak to you all later on tonight with the Sadio Mane Team of the Season player review, so I'll catch you all there, lads. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Nidge out.
Yo, he's Nidge, plays with big games, and player reviews are getting insane. He entertains while he elevates, his video quality resonates. On career mode, he got lots of vids uploading off, and he's rocking it. He's got the confidence in all his commentaries. Videos range, they often vary. Got need for speed and a road to glory. Just watching vids, and you know the story. The content is underrated, I'm understating, so don't ignore the like.